Hey guys, Glaze here. I hope everyone is having a great day so far. Before we get into looking at how NAF plays apartments on T-side Inferno and also ways that you can introduce things for yourself as well, I'm going to ask if you could subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I do greatly appreciate it, and you also won't miss out on any future videos here on the channel. Saying that now, let's get into looking at how NAF plays around apartments on T-side Inferno. Let's first take a look at this first buy round after winning the pistol round. NAF knows that the CT side will either be full eco or have sort of a bad force buy of pistols and possibly one or two rifles. Notice here how Liquid won't Molotov apartments this round due to the fact they know the CT side will not peak in this position because of the lack of utility and the bad buy they're on. Instead, NAF will then save his Molotov and HE grenade for Boiler, as he knows these pistols would love to play these sort of close angles we see in this area of the map. Following gaining map control of apartments here, Liquid will then just decide to go for a horse pop, where NAF will then jump out first going towards headshots. Unfortunately, he does go down however. Moving on to the first buy round here guys, where NAF will have an AK and all variations of utility. We will see him throw an early Molotov using a jump throw bind by aiming on this shadow in line with the window and jump throw when his crosshair is off of it into the sunlight. This will land in towards bedroom, denying any CT aggression on towards second mid. Following this, NAF will then throw his HE by getting himself wedged into this corner, aiming as shown, running until here, and then jump throwing. This will then land towards stairs on the right hand side just to chip down any aggressive CTs that are in this position in apartments. After showing early presence here, he will then regroup with his team ready to hit on towards the B side of the map. As the apartments player, we will see that NAF sort of plays it very loose in terms of where he is on the map, and also sometimes putting pressure in apartments, but also sometimes just throwing some utility and then falling back. In the following round, we will see NAF start off in the same way with throwing the early Molotov like we just learned, following his HE grenade. However, this time throwing a second one that a leech also dropped over to him. NAF will quickly then check towards stairs here in apartments, just making sure there isn't an active aggressive CT player before going back and spamming towards this position. The reason for spamming here is that it will damage or even kill players who are tucked into this little cubby here, but also players that are standing in the halls as well. Because the leech has already gone up through apartments at this point, NAF can be much more safer here without needing to be worried about clearing these close angles. He will then just start spamming another couple of positions, the first one being past the door frame here on balcony. That will hit anyone who may be standing on the railing looking in towards apps. The second brief spam that NAF will then do will be in the close left position here in apartments. However, this one is just for a split second before placing his crosshair back towards apartments, ready for a CT to swing off of it. The final spam we would then see will be on top of this window here through the door. This is just to hit anyone who may be boosted up in this position towards short. Some rounds NAF won't even take control of apartments at all. He will instead early on in the round just stand on the bridge and spam this area instead for any CTs who may be pushing. But also notice the buy that the CTs currently have in this situation. They are all on a half buy with pistols. If you're good at keeping track of the enemy economy, it might be an idea to leave apartments alone in rounds like these, as it is really where these pistols will like to play with the close angles. NAF will quickly check no CTs have pushed up towards apartment stairs here before going back and throwing the HE grenade we looked at earlier. As Liquid are now going for a B hit, as we can see on the minimap, NAF will then just use the rest of his utility to keep the CT side sort of guessing in this area of the map towards brackets. The smoke that NAF throws is by getting into the corner, aiming here on the right side of the flower bed and simply using a left click throw. This can be used for both 128 and 64 tick. The Molotov, that is just something on the fly really, landing towards Boiler, flushing out any players in this position. Later on, NAF will then just be holding towards T-ramp and bottom mid while his team are taking the B side of the map. You can even try and silent boost your teammates into apartments here if you know the CT side sort of keep on listening out for this sound cue. That way you can get 2 or more players into this position very easily without giving the CT side the information that you're doing it. You do this silent boost by having one player standing on the barrel here, while the others just walk over you and jump into apartments. So I've been given access to this new program from Leafify called Star Cooler. It's an anti-strat software that can be used for pro teams to get an understanding of what other teams and players are doing. However, in this situation today, I'll be using it to understand any other habits that NAF does on T-side Inferno that we haven't looked at. As we can see in the past 2 months alone that I've selected on Star Cooler here, on Inferno T-side, every move that NAF has done over every single round on T-side over every single map. As we can see, he almost always starts with the Molotov towards bedroom here, followed by the HE grenade that we covered earlier. The majority of the time, NAF will then go through T-App's door here, just to make sure no CTs are pushing towards this position. Following this, he will then change it up a little bit in terms of where he will go next, either pushing further into apartments, or falling back, throwing fake utility, or even going back middle or even B. So let's go back now and have a little bit of a recap on everything that NAF does in apartments on the T side on Inferno. He will almost always start off the early Molotov in towards bedroom, making sure to use it as a lineup and not mess it up, but also a decent amount of time following this up with a HE grenade in towards bedroom and deep stairs, stopping any aggressive CTs in this position. Following this, NAF will then usually go through the door here and check towards stairs. Following this now, you can either change it up quite a lot of the time. NAF will either go and throw fake utility towards brackets and even boiler, or even sometimes push further in towards apartments, taking all of the map control away from the CTs and also using the spams that we looked at earlier on. And even very few examples going all the way back towards B to group up with the rest of his team. There are many different options when it comes to playing apartments on the T side in Inferno, so go out there and try them all out for yourself. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I apologize for missing the Friday upload last week, however I hope this has made up for it. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll speak to you very soon.